Sunday. So you know what that means? It's Single Sunday. We ended up breaking down the singles that we ended up picking up throughout this entire week that we had. It is before the 15th. So October 15th, these are the singles that we ended up picking up and covering. Now, if this is the first time of you watching Single Sunday, this is where we go over what we ended up picking up on our pull list. We have a local comic book shop where we have a pull list where we add, subtract, or maintain that said pull list. These are the singles that we ended up picking up. And sometimes we pick up some flyers, and sometimes we miss some books. So with that said, I like to be saying that this is a blast from the past because this came out last week, and this is something that we ended up missing. So it's not going to be included with the top books that we ended up having. And that was Spider-Man 1994. Gotta get rid of it. There we go. I love the story that we ended up progressing. I love the idea of continuing off where the original Spider-Man comes over with it. And we got J.M. Mateus that's on the story for it. So it's going to be a good story. We end up finding out about Kane. We end up finding out about Morlun. We have a couple C, maybe D list characters. I don't know what level list of characters, but we have them coming over with it. We ended up seeing the love affair between Morlun and Spidey, all in this little thing. A common thing that I was hearing, well, I was talking with one of my friends. We were talking about how the art is a little bit different. And I kind of enjoyed that little art. It kind of seems a little bit more like the cartoon that goes over with it. But hey, that's pretty awesome. So that was the blast from the past. And now we got the flyer section. Yeah, that's right. This is the flyer section. This is books that we tried taking a chance of. Any book that has 3 or less issues isn't allowed to be onto the pull list. Obviously, issues like Spider-Man 94 is, again, a fringe of that because there were only 2 issues in. But these flyers is going to be taken with 2 books. We have Fantastic Four and Gargoyles. Issue number 1. I think this is a one-shot, and this had a nice mix of the characters and a nice mix of what we ended up having in there. There's also action that you end up having with, well, you have another gargoyle being a villain. You got to figure out which one that is. And then you also have Iron Man that makes a good presence that's going to be unknown. And it kind of makes sense of why Iron Man's included into this story. Oh, it's a nice solid story, nice solid grab, and honestly, I won't be surprised if that ends up coming like how Predator did, where it continued throughout the entire Marvel universe. So, if that happens with Gargoyles, who would you like to be seeing next that teams up with Gargoyles? Alright, and the other flyer is going to be the Return to Planet Hulk number 1 by Mr. Greg Pak, who ended up doing the writing for that. Oh, and it was important to say that Fantastic Four and Gargoyles number 1 was by Weisman, who was the original writer for Gargoyles. Alright, now back to the Planet Hulk, where we ended up having and seeing stuff that goes on. We end up continuing down the path that the Hulk's blood ends up healing the planet, and we end up seeing the fallout that comes out of that. Nice little decent story. I would say it's still a little bit more developing, and it's going on. So that wraps us up to our poll, what we have this week. And we have a total of 4 books that qualify for that poll. What is going to be our top 4 books? Well, if you looked over at League of Comic Geeks, you have ended up seeing what's coming out, and you'll be able to guess from there. But coming in at number 4 is going to be New Gods issue number 11. Yes, that's right. This is going to be issue 11. We have one more issue before they end up taking a break. And I don't know why it's not hidden as well. Maybe I'm not retaining the story as much. Maybe I should go for a reread. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments down below. Coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Captain America by Chip Zdarsky, issue number 4. No wonder why I was stuck on 4. we end up seeing flashbacks with the Captain America, and then the current one, and the one in the past. And the Captain America of today is going through a different philosophy and seeing things going over that he does not liking. And it's a solid build-up that goes over with it. I did enjoy the story. Now, coming in at number 2 is going to be a little bit of a shocker, because it's not as high as it normally is on our list. And that's going to be Thundercats issue 19. That's right, Thundercats are loose. We end up having Apex getting held over with Panthro because, well, Apex seems to be a real bad kitty. And then we end up seeing that Satara is actually leading the Thundercats, and they're going down a different path, a different progression. And who are they on the hunt for? Well, Lion-O. And they're trying to get their fearless leader, trying to find him before the Thundercats become doomed. Also, in this book, we end up finding that Snarf has a secret magical power, and it comes in pretty handy in the issue. Alright, so that covers our fourth, third, and second picks. So what's going to be the top pick? Well, this book ended up having a lot of action, a good story that's ended up setting it up, and some good banter, and, well, just some good old fun that's going to be in that. What are we going to be end up finding? Well, on issue 8 of One World Under Doom, we ended up getting, I want to say, the perfect package where we got action, we got a little bit of relief for a hot second, and we got a good setup for the conclusion of One World Under Doom. How is it going to conclude? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I'm really enjoying what the story ended up coming over with and the progression of the story overall. So that is our list. That's your dose of Single Sundays. And if you're liking the content we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever we come out with new content. We got some big changes coming over at the top of next year. So stay tuned, chillax, have fun, do everything. And most importantly, thank you guys for watching. And until next time, we'll see you later.